Alright, so this is day 2 of reflections. So we're going to start by talking about what is a reflection. So reflections are a flip over the mirror line. Okay, so again, this is your mirror line for this situation. Your mirror line could be the y-axis, the x-axis, x equals 1, y equals 2, like it's whatever they give you, that's your mirror line. And one thing to remember, points are equal distance from the mirror line. Okay? Alright? And so then like your algebraic rule doing this, so this only applies if your mirror line is the x-axis or the y-axis. If it's not that, then you're just counting. But I do want you to at least have these to use. So if your mirror line, remember that's what we're talking about. If your mirror line is the x-axis, your formula would just be your x stays the same, but you change the sign of your y. If your mirror line is your y-axis, you change the sign of x, but your y stays the same. And so again, we're flipping the sign. That's why we're flipping over the mirror line. Flipping the sign. This works for your x-axis and y-axis mirror line. So this first one says reflect. So remember, if we're reflecting, we're just doing a flip. So flip over the x-axis. So that's going to be our mirror line. Okay. And so this is our original shape, and we just want to start by writing our original points. So A is 4, 3, D is 1, 5, M is -1, 5, W -1, 4. So those are our original points. So we want to use our rule. So we're going to put our rule here from up here. So x -y was the rule. And that's because our mirror line was the x-axis, so we want our x-axis rule. So remember, x's will stay the same, but you change the sign of y. You flip the sign of y. So remember, this just means flip the sign of y. So if it's positive, it's negative. If it's negative, it becomes positive. So we'll just look at our originals. And so I always like to highlight the number that's changing. So in this case, the only number that we're changing are our y's. That is the number we're changing. So if it is positive, it becomes negative. If it is negative, it becomes positive. And so remember, you're going to have these memorized. So, you know, on test, with test time, these are memorized. Make sure you're memorizing these formulas, these rules, so that you can be successful. But on your quiz, you can definitely use your notes. So again, I always will start by writing my x's first because my x's stay the same. Now my y is that we're flipping the sign up. So 3 is, all of these are positive, so they become negative. So this becomes -3, -5, -5, -4. So again, just flipping them. And remember, this is because our mirror line is this x-axis here. This is our mirror line. Okay? So we're flipping it across to here. This is the mirror line. So now we're just going to draw our new shape. So our new shape is going to be over 4, -3. Okay, so this is A prime, 1, -5. This is D prime, -1, -5. So this is M prime, and then -1, -4. This is going to be W prime. So remember, you always have to label them, and then you just connect them. So connect your points. Okay, and so notice the same exact size, same exact shape, but it was just flipped over this line. Just flipped. It's like the reverse, right? So then you have your reflection examples that we're going to do. Again, if you're going to try them on your own, you can, but you might want to do this first one with us because this is not an x-axis or a y-axis. So do this one at least together, and then you can practice the next one on your own if you would like. So this one says reflect across x equals 3 or negative 3. So here, that is our mirror line. So this is our mirror line, okay? And so our mirror line is x equals negative 3, so you're going to find x equals negative 3, which is 1, 2, 3, so it's right here. Okay, so that is our mirror line. I'm just calling it ML. And so because it's not the y-axis, not the x-axis, we really can't just use the rules we just did. So instead, our rule is just going to be count spaces from mirror line. So remember, if it has to be, because it's a mirror, it has to be the same distance from the mirror line. It has to be the same distance. So when we count, whatever it is from the mirror line, it's going to be the opposite on the other side. So the same exact count. So for instance, W, we're just going to start W. We're moving, it's 1 away from this mirror line. See that? It's 1 away. And so therefore I know it has to be 1 away on the opposite side. So that is going to be W prime. Okay? Which is negative 4 positive 3. Do the same thing for S. S is 1 away as well. So it has to be 1 away over here. Okay? So that is S prime, which is negative 4, 1. Then I is 1, 2 away. So it's 2 distance away from the mirror line. So we count 2 on this side. 1, 2. And that is going to be our I prime. Then lastly, P is 1 away, so it has to be 1 away on the opposite side of the mirror. So again, it's the same distance from the mirror line, just on the opposite side. So now it's our job to reconnect these, and it should look just like our shape on the other side. Okay, there it is. So you have the same shape, they're just intersecting each other because of the mirror line. It's just flipping right on top of each other. Okay? And I'm going to fill in these points here. So again, remember, if it's not the y-axis or the x-axis, you just count the spaces from the mirror line, and then you just mirror it on the other side. You do the same thing on both sides. Alright, this is the time where you can pause and practice the reflections on your own, or you can just stick with me and do them with me. Either way works. Again, we're reflecting across our mirror line, which is y equals negative 2, which again is not the y-axis or the x-axis, so we're just going to be counting from our mirror line. So your first step is to actually just identify your mirror line. So it's y equals negative 2, so that's going to be right here. And you're just going to darken that line here so you know, like, hey, this is my mirror line. So that red line is your mirror line. And again, you're just going to do the same thing. Count from mirror line. Okay. And then you're just going to replicate on the other side. So the easiest point I would start with is I. I is on the mirror line. So the opposite would just be that same point on the mirror line as well. So this would also be I prime, the same exact point. So that's just negative 3, negative 2. So now we can start counting. E is 1 distance away, so it has to be 1 distance away here. So this will be E prime. Remember, Remember, we're reflecting it. Z is 1, 2, 3 away, so it has to be 1, 2, 3 away here. So that's going to be Z prime. And then Q is 1, 2 away, so it has to be 1, 2 away on this side. So again, equal distance from the mirror line. And then of course you connect them, and then you'll see that this is the same exact shape, just flipped. There it is. Of course, you always write your new points, so your image points. You have to be careful remembering that this is not your x-axis, this is your x-axis, so you have to be able to count correctly as well for that. So again, these are your reflection examples. You will have more practice of this, I promise. This is just getting you started, getting you to understand what reflections look like, and hopefully this just will be able to support you with reflections.